Hey, I'm Barruga with Guerrilla Approach. So one of the unintended consequences of training on a range and trying to develop tactics or even fine-tune our SOPs is, unless you've got a lot of high-speed and sexy moving target equipment, you're left with just shooting at static cardboard and static steel. This is fine. You can still teach your shooters in the crawl phase and maybe even into the walk phase, but you need to always be reminding them about how the fight changes second by second and how movement might invalidate certain tactics that we hold on to. So a great example of where we see movement not taken into consideration is 360-degree security and sectors of fire. The big Army, military, doctrinal example of how you respond to any kind of engagement is that if you get hit on the flank, you need to have shooters that are maintaining discipline and looking off in the direction where you're not getting hit, so that if there is any kind of bold flanking maneuver that the enemy's performing, if they're trying to use a pincer movement to trap you, you have shooters maintaining discipline so they can engage those enemy forces when they try to flank your position. Now, 360-degree security and strict sectors of fire doesn't always translate as well when we use it for the military doctrine and transferring it down to the kind of engagements where law enforcement is going up against small elements, probably just one individual, maybe even two individuals. So for a 2-on-1 fight, or maybe even 3 officers against 2 suspects, having one individual look off in the distance awaiting a bold flanking maneuver that's not going to happen is kind of silly. So another specific situation where we want to be thinking about movement is with any kind of a flank attack where we're still wanting to bail out of the vehicle. So if we've got 2 officers in the front of a vehicle and we have contact off to the right side of the vehicle, just because the driver can reach over his partner and take shots at static targets doesn't necessarily mean that he should. Anytime we move past 90 degrees with our range of motion, it actually becomes very limiting for us to take a shot that isn't strictly confined to a specific side of the vehicle. Probably gonna make a lot more sense for him to actually get out of the vehicle, start that movement off of the X, and start to orient his bore line towards the threat once he's actually cleared the car and he has a much wider sector of fire he can collapse in on. So he's not sitting in the car waiting for a bold flanking maneuver to take place on his side. He's getting himself out so that he can increase the lethality of his unit by increasing their security. So remember, anytime you're doing any kind of tactical training on the range, you're looking at fine-tuning your SOPs, it is incredibly important to remember the role that movement plays with regards to invalidating your techniques or your tactics. One of the big issues that we see with a lot of small-scale engagements is that individuals will be very good at amassing fires, but they won't be very good at amassing personnel. We'll see 2 individuals start to fight 2 separate fights instead of having 2 individuals fight 1 fight. Always remember the role that movement has, even if you're stuck with just shooting at static cardboard and steel targets. You should always attempt to robustly invalidate the technique or the tactic that you are using. Otherwise, we're coming out to the range and we just start doing drills for the sake of doing drills.